All right. Hey, Olivia, thank you so much for being willing to be interviewed today and giving a testimonial. Could we start quickly with a quick introduction? Tell me who you are and your organization.
Sure. Thank you, Jennifer. My name's Olivia Asiedu-Nto. I am a co-founder and COO of Scale Up Africa. We are a women-led entrepreneurship advisory firm that supports the scaling of women-led SMEs, but also looking at how we can support the youth to reduce youth unemployment on the continent. We do this through capacity building. We do this through connecting with corporates and foundations and tapping into their CSR or SDGs to be able to support these groups of people. A lot of the work that we do is around empowerment, it's around just technical skills training or developing their business for them to be able to scale and just boost the economy at the same time. And that's what we do at Scale Up Africa.
Sounds amazing. Cool. So can you tell us a little bit about where you guys were at before we started working together?
Sure. I think when we first started off Scale Up, we had sort of big plans in terms of how we wanted to impact a number of these women-led businesses and also supporting the youth on the continent. It hit home very quickly that we had so many ideas and it was hard to really be succinct in terms of what our proposition to the market was. And we'd done a lot of sort of communication plans. We'd looked at how different sectors needed to be re-looked at. We'd spoken to a number of corporations in terms of how they can be plugged in, but we still needed that nuggets that would kind of bring it all together. So I think we were kind of okay, but we were not really hitting the mark because on a regular basis, you'd have corporates or even SMEs asking us over and over again, so what do you guys do? And that started to trigger us and kind of think, okay, so we know what we're doing, but maybe we're not communicating it properly, or we were not being succinct enough, or we hadn't really kind of fine-tuned our strategy in terms of this is what we do, and this is how you can come on board to support us to do it. And these are kind of the specific areas that we're looking to achieve. Before we actually formalized our relationship and set up Scale Up Africa, we were kind of doing it off the fly, supporting SMEs, doing virtual events to really showcase our expertise. And then when all of that was done, we kind of sat back and thought, okay, what do we really want to do? Like, we want to support women-led businesses because they seem to have a bit of a tough time on the continent with funding, with support. The men seem to get all the best opportunities. Unemployment for the youth was ridiculously high. And unfortunately, when we'd hired a couple of interns, they were not so great either. So we thought, look, there's something that we can do to really help shape the youth in order for them to either go the route of entrepreneurship or get into a really great internship or opportunity or in a business for them to be able to then start to learn a bit more about where they want to see themselves moving into. So I think that was kind of the space we were in. We were doing lots and lots of different things. And bearing in mind we're now 2 years old, we're a lean team. And so having a lot of disparate things to do kind of put a lot of pressure on us. And I think that's when we kind of thought, okay, we definitely need some help because I felt like we were chasing our tail. We knew kind of what we're doing, but we needed somebody from the outside to come in and say, you're doing really great, but you're doing too much. Be more succinct, figure out what your proposition to the market is, put some products out and really have a plan as to how you're going to reach out to these people.
Great. Okay. So can you then talk a little bit about what did we do together? What were the steps and things that we put in place?
Sure. I think what really helped us moving forward to where we are now was almost having to go back and just really think about why did we start this business in the first place? What were some of the things that we wanted to achieve? And then understanding, okay, that's the group of people who want to help, but they're not the ones that are going to fund us. So how do we then get into the minds and hearts of the corporates, of the people that will be paying us to support these people to scale and grow? And I don't think we spent too much time on that because we literally thought we're just going to help the SMEs. And so the process with yourself has been very helpful in terms of the people that you actually need to get the funding and monies from. You need to get into their mindset and understand what makes them tick, what keeps them awake at night. Why should they be interested in SMEs? And actually turning it all on its head, going, okay. So the whole understanding of sustainability, SGDs, and all that kind of stuff came into play for us to understand, okay, who are the target group of people that we need to reach from the funding side? What are some of the problems that they're currently facing? Why should they use us? Why are we different? And what do they get out of it? because we're asking them for money that we're probably not going to pay back. Actually, no, we're not going to pay them back because it's an investment. So getting our mindset into that space of whomever sits on the sustainability board or in an organization within a big corporate, these are some of the areas they're probably thinking about, or these are some of the questions they might ask you if you're asking them to support you and support these SMEs on the ground. It's like, what do they get out of it? How does it support their company? What are some of the benefits that they're likely to get? And I don't think we've thought in too deeply about it because we just kind of, in my mind, just assume they should want to help. I mean, if they're helping these SMEs, it goes full circle. But all of that intel and information was in our heads. We just kind of needed the guidance to just say, you actually need to go through the process to really bring it out so these corporates can understand that you understand where we're coming from. You actually have our best interests at heart. You actually understand that in terms of sustainability, it's all these benefits when it comes to brand equity, when it comes to making our investors look great, finding the best talents, because if the ecosystem is strong within the space they're in, it benefits everybody. And so going through that process week by week and going through the work plans and actually allowing us to just brain dump, because it was all in our heads, brain dump and actually just see that, oh, okay, so this is the process. This is what they actually want to hear. It really helped fine tune going to market with. And that was very, very helpful for us.
Yeah, awesome. So where are you guys at now? What's happening in the business now?
What isn't happening? It's been such an eye-opener, because I think when you're really passionate about doing good, but then don't really think about, I mean, we thought about the money side of it on a regular basis, but we kind of thought, oh, it'll come. But having gone through the process and really understanding who our primary targets and our secondary targets were, and paying more attention to where the funds are coming from and how we can support them as well, has really helped kind of have open conversations where it's almost as if we're speaking to the corporates on a level. Because before we're like, oh, you need to help us do this, you need help us do that. Now it's turned around. It's just like, actually, you kind of need us as much as we need you, because, you know, in terms of storytelling, what have you been saying to your stakeholders? In terms of brand equity, well, you've had some bad press, it's probably affected your bottom line. And so we're speaking the same language, and they're kind of almost taken aback to just say, you really do understand where we're coming from now, to the point where we're getting a lot more companies looking at us. So when we check on our kind of the back end on our website or on LinkedIn, in terms of engagement, it's a lot higher. When we post something, a lot more people are kind of gravitating towards it. People are picking up our calls now, which is really great, because they see the value in what we're trying to do. And I think it's because we've been able to fine tune it and get our minds in a space of, we need to understand what our primary target audience are looking for, and how we plug into that is to let them know that if they're able to support us, these are all the benefits they're likely to bring to the table. And that's been an eye-opener over the last sort of month or so, where before we'd send out a big mailer, you know, some people would look at it, nobody would click anything. But now literally we're getting a number of people kind of even booking in our Calendly, reaching out to us, our corporate phones actually ringing, which is phenomenal. And now, you know, we're kind of in a space of like, okay, in terms of capacity, we're at full capacity, but we're really enjoying it, because we're also getting a lot of feedback from corporates to say, okay, we really want to be able to do something with you, we just don't know what. And that, in terms of going through the process, that really helped shape our 3 main packages and products to market. And it's been a lot easier to have these conversations with these people, because we're speaking to them on a particular level. And at this point, I think by the end of this year, because we've been going great guns, by the end of this year, we should hopefully lock down a number of contracts, one of which has been, because of the process that we've gone through with yourself, one major client that we just won is Diageo, which is like phenomenal, because we've been very succinct, really clear on what we're bringing to the table and what the benefits are to them, and how it really supports their own ecosystem. So yeah, it's been a really great kind of interesting journey. And we're just really looking forward to kind of bringing more opportunities to the table and supporting, you know, our main focus, which is the women-led SMEs and the youth as well.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. Do you have any final comments before we finish?
I think everybody should literally go through this process, because as much as when you're running your own business, you think you know it all, because you're so fully in it, you can't literally see the wood for the trees. So it really takes somebody to come in from an outside point of view and actually just steer you in the right direction. I mean, everybody, you know, knows what they're doing in their own organization, but I think it really takes somebody kind of such as yourself to come in on board and say, you're doing great, but you could do it better. And for me, that was something that was a bit of a nugget for us to think beyond what we'd already were thinking about. And I think it was kind of in there, but we needed it to be pulled out of us. And for me, that's been an absolute pleasure, an absolute pleasure. And we're very, very excited as to how our business is going to grow and scale in the next year. 2022 for us is going to be phenomenal. We're already excited to kick things off. So very, very excited. Thank you so much for kind of taking us through this process. And yeah, who knew there was somebody such as yourself out there that did this? So I'm very excited that we've been able to do this together. So thank you.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.